So the long-awaited turkey shoot, where we put the best of turkey from past and present. This started out from my trip to Japan, where I saw a couple of bottles, and one was that split label 12 year there, 97, and a group of us sort of went fifths in it. And then it escalated, and then people started bringing more, and everyone wanted to bring their own, the best turkey they had. So this was the start of the night, and I think the bottle count just got bigger and bigger. And then we ended up with the new Father's Day Four Roses that we tried that night. There's a Bourbon Junkies Essence bottle, just all sorts of good stuff. So yeah, stay tuned, and we'll get the show on the go.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
So here was our initial lineup. That's the Rare Breed, non-chill filtered, 1 litre from Japan. That Wild Turkey 1855, that is basically batch 2 Rare Breed that went over to the international market. The 12-year split label, 152, and February the 6th, 97. So, distilled like 85. That's a modern Wild Turkey 12 and a modern Wild Turkey 13. Basically, the 13 sort of took over the 12, but I think the backlash stopped it. Russell Reserve Single Rickhouse F, that's my favorite modern Wild Turkey thing. And then this thing is called a Peanut. Wild Turkey Traditions from 95. I've seen a few of them on secondary, but we get to try that and basically rank them and see what's best. Now, check out this board. I think you might have seen it before, that Prater, Prater the Tater, he makes these. Eventually he'll have it up and we'll be listing it, but man, they're gorgeous. I'll show you something else he makes later on too. Now that's the first year Rare Breed, batch 1, versus basically the batch 2. The first year came out in 91 for like half a year, and then they had sort of a batch 2 or batch 1.5 basically. And then there was nothing in the US called Rare Breed for the next year, but there was the 1855 at the same proof, so I'm guessing it's the same stuff. So we've already added a few more bottles. This Wild Turkey Austin Nichols 101. Back in the day, 101 used to be age stated at 8 years, and Austin Nichols was the previous owner of Wild Turkey. Then Austin Nichols sold to a French conglomerate, Pernod Ricard, for 100 million, and in 2019 it was changed hands again to the Campari for 575 million. So that Unforgotten, that's a Burrye, a mixture of bourbon and rye. There was a bit of a mistake that happened years ago, and it was a happy mistake, happy little accident, so they keep on doing it. Same old stuff we ran through before. And then the Fantail, the Kentucky Spirit in the old Fantail bottle. That's Dusty 2.
I still think the 14 was better.
Do you think that? Do you like the 14 better?
Sorry. I like it clean.
Oh, I do the same thing, man.
I
probably should. After my first 2 that I screwed up.
Here we're going to try this pourer thing of John's. We don't use it right the first time. We eventually work it out, but at the end of the day, we just find it easier to pour into a jigger.
Oh, that was so underwhelming.
Very mediocre.
I don't think mine puts
too. I think they're always like that.
Puts the crack pipe in the hole.
Yeah. So we're using the Saints pour. This is our first time giving this a try.
That looks like a crack pipe.
But
and then here, pour it into here and let's see if it does.
Yeah,
really
let's
do
measure it, because I can't remember if the Saint was that's a heavy Saint pour. Sorry.
That's wild. Oh, but it's still. That's way too much.
Okay, so what I've done.
We're gonna have to do.
Well,
like
I was pouring.
Yeah, you were pouring as it was going.
Well, there's 3/4 of an ounce.
See, you turn it all. I think isn't the top a full ounce of it?
I don't think that one is.
No, that is 3/4.
Do I?
It says.
This WB Saffel, that's also a Campari product. I believe they brought out a couple of different bottles, and this was the one that they actually let Eddie Russell work his magic on. And this was the Father's Day release of Four Roses. This guy's like 16 years old and 135.8 proof. This was just released that day, And luckily we had our buddy Daryl up there to pick it up. And this is the Bourbon Junkies Essence. It was one of their first ones I think they released back when they were Evermore. Are they still Evermore? I can't remember, I'll have to look it up. But yeah, this is finished in like pear brandy casks. And you should never try and drink any amount on an empty stomach.
Beans. We want those beans.
And how could you have a turkey shoot without smoked turkey legs? Look at that. And those beans, more bacon than beans. Fantastic.
There it is. What are we opening?
A Wild Turkey 13
What's that?
from Japan.
I've probably got a couple. Wow, that just like no ass behind it at all. It literally floated there in the air for.
What an idiot. Oh, what a loser.
Did it pop?
That's a pop.
All I heard was.
Wild Turkey 13. Thanks for having us, John.
Cheers. Cheers.
I
can barely read.
So this is current 12.
13.
This is 13.
Modern 13.
91. First one was 13.
That's what everybody's drinking.
Well, this would be live stream too.
Huh?
This would be live stream too.
Yeah, I just don't want to keep up.
That is really good.
Respond to people like, yeah.
It doesn't have like any sort of harshness or you
No
definitely
bite.
there's no bite.
No bite.
Such an easy drinker.
Easy drinker. Yeah, great flavor, easy drinker. Not spectacular because there's no bite or anything, but
It could be worse though. It could be 80. So at least it's 91.
so yeah, nice flavor, but yeah, a little bit underwhelming really, and really got put in its place with the rest of them. So yeah, after we tried the 12 and the 13 back to back, the 12 is just light years better than the 13. There's more flavor, the flavor's better, the mouth feels better. Yeah, it's a superior drink. So I do believe they had tried to replace the 12 with the 13 and there was backlash. So now I believe the 12 is back. But none of this we can get in the US. It's a bummer for us. But if you're in Japan, get the 12.
It's a creamier.
Turkey split label 12 year from
18 months
it was 1:52 p.m. on February 6, 97.
Nice.
So the thing, let's hope the cork is good.
So this. Oh, there it goes.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
The cord. When you did you flip it?
No,
Saving
need a
CNF
topper?
for later because it's 114 or 118.
Okay, so we're trying out the Wild Turkey 12.
almost everything except
Good.
That is fun. All right.
Cheers.
nose on it. No shot.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Right, Dad, one of those.
I had to borrow one from Mike tonight because, well, James and I broke one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, the glass on those period are thick.
The board held up well though.
That's really
That's
good.
fucking good.
Such a sweet nose on it.
It is. Like got the dusty on there.
So when people say dusty, they bring up notes of like basement and grandma and really unappetizing things, but the dusty note is actually fantastic.
I'm not saying it's bad.
I don't ever want to buy a new bottle of bourbon again. I want to. My goal at this point now is I'm just buying old shit. It's come out like that every time. We go back to these old dusties, and there is something different. The wood.
It's the land.
And okay, when we went on the old Forester tour, I mentioned that to her. It's like we've noticed when you go back to some of these old dusties, the flavor profile is dramatically different. Hey, John. And I said the flavor profile, the distillation process is the same. The climate hasn't changed that much. It's like it's got to be the wood. She's like, it is 100% the wood. She's like most barrels that go into the cooperage now are matured within 10 years. It's like back when you're in the 70s and 80s, those trees coming down were hundreds of years old. You know, they were clear cutting the forest for the first time when they started making that wood.
This is the Fantail, yeah.
This was that Evan Williams
2014.
one, Mike.
Yeah,
Modeled in
2014.
2014.
Kentucky Spirit.
Yeah, it's a
They had
regular
it limit one.
Now they don't do these. When they
Did
put
you
them
know
in
that there's the
Fantail.
23-year mixed in
No,
with that?
I think
no,
you said
there's
this
the
is
23 years
2015.
blended
Oh,
in
it's
with
mixed
that.
in. Yeah,
Yeah.
she said a bunch were mixed in, but she didn't tell me which one.
Yeah.
No, 83.7.
It's good stuff. I mean, it's a great little sipper to get started.
101 proof.
Yeah, 101.
Go see John.
All right.
Don't blame you. I've already
Hey,
tried.
That's
You guys are serious. That's regular.
So this is a peanut?
You got an orange peanut?
Yeah,
An orange peanut for me?
that's right.
Wow, an orange peanut. Well, I accept you.
Well, take a peanut from what year?
What year is this, Devin?
So it just
It's on the
Yeah, but what kind is it?
Devin, hell, Devin bought all these.
It's on the.
Yeah, February 28th, 1995. Bottled at 8:14 a.m. It's a wild turkey tradition.
Why do they call it a peanut?
Well, it's a peanut. It looks like a peanut.
They said that.
So, bro, what are you looking?
What is this? That's what my vegan kit looks like.
I think somebody resealed y'all's peanut.
No, that's. Is it going to be tangy?
I don't know. We're gonna find out together. I'm not gonna do it by myself.
Yeah.
That's that dusty note.
Oh, yeah. Hey, so no,
Smells like my grandma's house.
This is your dusty.
Feels like we're in the Rick House.
This is the dustiest.
70s. Like.
So we also disintegrated.
That's dusty.
Standing, just walking in like. This is.
But it is so. I love that smell.
It's like old cologne that doesn't get sold anymore.
Yeah, like that didn't. You know, it was like you had that.
If I had to knock this for anything, I would say I would have expected the mouthful to be a little
The
bit
mold.
oily.
The mold.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mold probably.
This one got you on the back
It got you on the back, but yeah.
A little bit less than that.
So far the second one.
Well, this one's called a what? Still saying Austin Nichols on the back.
So this.
So after the peanut, whose cork was quite corroded, that normally happens if the liquid is in contact with the cork. So with whiskey and bourbon, you don't want to lie it over like you do with a wine to keep the cork wet. At the most, you want to maybe shake it up once or twice a year just to keep the cork wet, but you don't want the liquid in contact with the cork or it'll corrode it. But that was dusty. Now, what is dusty? What is the dusty flavor? I don't know, man. You can tell it's musty, it's dank. Everything I would describe it doesn't sound delicious, but somehow it is. And the peanut was extra danky. Maybe it was just cork, but it was still good. We then had the Fantail from 2014, which had a nice combination of not as dusty, maybe as flavor as the rest of them, but still had some really nice, you know, more modern wild turkey flavors, more fruits in there. I think as the liquid stays in the bottle, some of those brighter notes get taken away, but the problem is we don't have a time machine, so we don't really know what it tasted like fresh back in the day.
What is the name Austin Nichols come from?
I think it's the previous owner.
Was it the owner?
Yeah.
I think it's the previous owner.
I believe it's the
Okay, so
owner
that was
before they
before
bought it.
Centaur?
Right, before Centaur.
Okay.
Because that Fantail is still
Because I remember there was a
You
big
look
period-
surprised, man.
So next up, we're going to try the 1855, which, like I described before, is a rare breed, a foreign rare breed.
Yeah, that basically means we're going to overcharge you now.
Thanks, Dave, for bringing this.
It's like, yeah,
Yep.
duty.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, Dave. Dave's got a nice
I'm just gonna hold it here until it comes this way. There we go.
Yeah, that sounded good.
Dave free-handed that one for sure.
I can't
like
wait
that.
to see which one of us cracks it, Glenn.
I mean, we can
that's
make
got
it.
Salute!
Too. We can make it happen.
So 1855 is a blend of 6, 8, and 12
That's
year
good.
at barrel proof. This is 92, so
I'm starting
you have.
to think maybe we should have bid more on that set.
This is basically
So you
the
have-
batch 2 of rare breed, right?
Yes.
Oh,
You
that's
have
really
you have a 86, an 84, and an 80 in here. 1980.
Oh man, this is my favorite over 101 proof wild turkey we've had yet.
It's
Wait, what proof is this? 110.
110.
You got to think
That's
about
right,
it.
no
fucking this is 110.
There ain't no way.
You've never had the mother, have you?
Which one's that?
1991 rare breed.
The 91
I
rare
think
breed.
that had that year off.
You did have that.
I like
Look
it.
back.
This is really good.
Yeah.
It's
Just
one of-
now picked up.
which-
So if you back through the definitely the
this is-
70s and
I
80s,
just picked up that.
That's
bourbon
12 year in
was
here.
like
Makes
that.
that
everybody
fantastic.
marketed
And then a little bit extra proof.
smooth.
So the 1855, it didn't really have so much of a dusty note, but it had a more of a quality bourbon note, if that makes sense. There were more spices. It was very spicy, very well-rounded, and didn't really have... It had a dusty note, but it didn't have the massive dusty note of some of these other ones that we were drinking. This bottle was a 10-year-old Camp Nelson B, which this year will be the single rick house, so we have heard. This was also another excellent pour. This is a Evernorth Spirit, so the Bourbon Junkies, finished in like some sort of apricot brandy casks or something. Delicious, absolutely delicious, really nice, easy drinkable. Totally recommend it. And this was a tatered up, I think we did a review not too long ago of these guys, Proof and Wood, and this is the Senator or something like that, so, you know, Trumpian Biden on there. Another excellent pour. There we go, from Liquor World, and the Presidential Dram. And President's Choice, well, we're on the Presidents. This is number 39, 11 years. Fantastic, of course, because it's President's Choice. Getting a bit of a pile of bottles. And so what is this again?
This is Tier 4 OESV 11-year, 3-month, or 5 months from 2020. So this is 6 year. This was bottled 6 years ago. And we're at basically 120 proof.
Let's give it a go.
Yeah.
That was another fantastic Four Roses single barrel, but not as good as the one coming up, which was the Father's Day 16 year.
Dollars, don't ask questions.
So you did?
Ooh, I know, man.
Yeah.
So what is that, John? 16
So what we're looking at today is the release that they did today at Four Roses. This is the Father's Day edition, Four Roses, OESV, Tier 3, 16 year. And what is special about this bottle is it is, let me do my math, we are at 130, we're basically 134.8.
135.8.
What did you say?
35.8, 135.8. So for a special
16
a
years.
barrel strength, I don't ever
That's a
remember
16
seeing one this
year?
high
Yeah.
proof with this age.
130?
135.8. Yeah.
You never tasted
Hey.
That's weak for a Four Roses bottle, but
Alright.
So that Four Roses was absolutely fantastic. Without a doubt, the best Four Roses I have ever tried. Is it worth as much as going on for secondary right now? Like $800? I don't know, man. Like the normal single barrel proofs or whatever from Four Roses are pretty damn good. But yeah, it is definitely better than any of the rest of them. So anyway, my rating goes as followed. So my rating from last to first would be probably coming in last, the 13 year. Nice flavor, just lacking in pretty much lacking in flavor, mouthfeel, and everything. Then the modern 12-year Wild Turkey, but there's a big gap between that. Then there's another relatively big gap between that and Rare Breed, non-chill filtered. So much better than the normal Rare Breed, just better mouthfeel, more oily, just better, right? Then the CNF, the Camp Nelson F, Russell's Single Rickhouse. For me, that's still one of the best modern wild turkeys you can get. Then there was like the Fantail, that had a dusty note but had some great sweetness and flavors. Then came the Peanut. The Generations, that was just super mega dusty. Maybe it was a bit of a Cork funk in it too, but still, it was nice. Then the 12, the 9712 Dusty, that was fantastic. Just the right amount of dusty flavor and flavors, and perfect. And then for me, number 1 was the 1855. That had less dustiness, but just more spice and more flavor, and just seemed to be a little bit fresher. So that's my rating. Everyone else had slightly different ones, so each to their own, but I think at the end of the day we all figured that the old Dusties sort of had it over the modern stuff. So that was it. It was a fantastic night, great time. These are the cool things you get to do with buddies and bourbon. So yeah, stay tuned and we'll see you next time.